All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to keep the break 3 minutes, a rare moment of democracy. We asked you guys what you wanted to do, and you said keep the break 3 minutes, so we're going to do that. Good morning, Eric, Cassandra, Mary Ann L. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So, the problem with this is you get everybody, right? You can't pick and choose who's going to watch or who's going to comment. You get everybody, so it's good. All right, hey, so the debate's tomorrow night. Most of you are going to watch it, according to your comments. Some of you aren't going to watch it. I don't know, possibly. Anyway, joining us now from parts unknown in a bunker deep beneath the surface of the earth, Whack FM's own Reese on the radio.
How we doing, sir?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I have to center myself every time when you put this thing up.
Yeah.
I'm always too far to the right.
Yeah.
Like in my usual life.
Well, in actual studio parlance, I'm actually too far to the left. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Yes. So I don't know. I have to honestly, I'm just not, as opposed to lying through my teeth. I hate it when people say that. Can I be honest with you? No, lie to me.
Right.
Tell me. I'm not really excited about this debate. I think it's the cards are stacked against Trump. You got on CNN. Thank goodness that that's the only thing that's going to improve their ratings is having Trump on.
Sure.
It's going to be great for them. The moderators are 100% card carrying Trump haters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't. I'm not excited. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. But like if Trump blows it, it's not like, well, I better reconsider this. I may have to vote for Biden now. Trump's people are secure. Biden's people are secure. We're just looking for that little independent sliver in the middle, right? What do you think?
Right. I think, well, to look at it in so many different ways, folks, I want you to take into consideration several factors that many of you already have. And if you watch my show, I've talked about it. So we have the old saying, well, at least the most recent saying, that Donald Trump will be debating 3 individuals on that stage tomorrow night, right?
Mhm.
Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Joe Biden, of course. I believe that because of the scrutiny that Dana Bash and Jake Tapper received over the past week with the recent cutting off the spokesperson for Donald Trump on the air, and that getting more attention this week for CNN than they've gotten in over 30 years, that is going to put Dana Bash and Jake Tapper on their heels a bit. Enough.
Okay.
I
like that. I didn't thought about it.
As a professional, look, what we know about Dana Bash and Jake Tapper, and most people in the news media business, they are vain. Vanity is what holds them together, right? The resume building is important to them. So this is an opportunity to resume build. And being here, if they appear biased, which they probably can't help themselves because it's personal to them in a lot of ways. I mean, look at the way Jake Tapper talks about Trump, a juxtaposition to Hitler, for crying out loud. So for them, it's a little personal. But on the same time, they do have to worry about their colleagues. Their scrutiny, right now, their reputation is nearing the edge of the toilet. If they blow it tomorrow night, it's in there. That's it. Irrefutable. So they have to, sort of hedge on how they attack Donald Trump and try to keep it fair and balanced as best that they can. Donald Trump has an edge here. If he stays calm, if he sticks to the issues, if he doesn't make it about 2020, which they will bait him into doing. I already know that the Biden administration is going to bait him on 3 key issues. The insurrection, as they call it. COVID-19 might play a role. That might be the 4th one. But of course, they'll talk about the conviction and, the impeachments. It will always be about, this debate for Biden is going to be what a Trump presidency would look like in 2025. That's his only go-to.
So let's suppose that we'll look at this, as you say, in varying different scenarios. Let's suppose that they do what we think they're going to do.
Okay.
And they are going to go full throat Trump, anti-Trump and drinking bleach and whatever they're going to do. and Trump is able to maintain some sense of calmness through this. I think that plays huge for Trump with independents.
Yes.
Because and the independents are smart. they're going to see it for what it is and then go, oh man, look what they're doing to this guy. Hate him, love him or not, I think just a basic sense of fairness can be violated here if they do what we think they're going to do, and Trump is able to not blow up.
Right. If he can look, if every question that's thrown at him is a hardball question and Joe Biden's met with softball, if he can maintain that and just keep articulating the points that he needs to make while they kind of make fools of themselves slavishly, licking the palms of Joe Biden, it'll be evident to everybody there. It just will be.
Yeah.
It will be evident to everybody there, and Donald Trump cannot be the focus. Remember, two things are happening here. Joe Biden has got to be able to stand on the stage for 90 minutes, and Donald Trump has to make sure that he doesn't appear like he did in the Chris Wallace debate. He's always going to be held to that standard of 2020.
Right.
And even he's acknowledged that 2020, that debate was just so contentious.
Yeah.
And for reasons that are obvious, because, this guy was running around bashing him and he knew he had a deep state problem that was his presidency was on the line. So he's fighting like, he's in quicksand.
Right.
And so I think Donald Trump at this point knows, he's in a Dukakis moment. Like, I can't believe I'm losing to this guy kind of deal. It's like right? Joe Biden is a comedy of errors that Donald Trump does not need to do anything but allow Joe Biden to sink himself.
Right. And I think it could be a Mondale Dukakis kind of time. Again, I want to be so careful with this because we know polling can be so off.
Right.
But I mean, Trump's ahead in most of the battleground states, tied in two that he's not ahead in. He's gaining younger demographic. He's gaining Latino graphic. He's gaining black demographic. He's just on a roll, it seems.
Sure.
But I'm just worried about his temper.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, but Donald Trump has been known to surprise us all. I mean, if you really think about it, Pastor Will, can I let me give you a comparison to 2008 to where we are today in 2024. There's some polling data, and I know people are iffy about polling data, but I think this polling data is very significant. I think CNN did it recently where they had a breakdown of immigration in this country. The signature issue of 2015, when Donald Trump comes down that escalator, is what he says about immigration in the country. He knew it was going to be a big problem. He's a business guy, and he has that it's a degree of clairvoyance that Donald Trump recognized about immigration. He made that his signature issue. At the time, the country was at 17% 17% for what Donald Trump was preaching about immigration. Today, that number is a whopping 62% in the country. Yeah, right. It's a no-brainer. Clairvoyance, he obviously figured that out. The crazy part about it is that the Hispanic and or Latino population was in the toilet on that argument, on that debate, because the news media made it about them, saying all of you he's condemning just for being Hispanic. He doesn't differentiate between legal Hispanics versus illegal ones, right? He means all of you. That number was in the toilet in 2008. Today, it is higher than African Americans polling to deport people who have come into the country illegally in the core base. So when I look at that and I say Donald Trump understands the writing on the wall, if he can take the losses of 2008 in that debate and profit from them in 2024, I think that guy's qualified to do it. He's always made it. When he said it was impossible for him to do certain things, Donald Trump turns around and changes it around. So my fear, as it were, isn't there because, to be honest with you, I want to see mayhem. I don't think I'm going to get it. But I want to see mayhem. I think it's good.
We all think back of 16 and the Hillary Clinton, you'd be in jail line. I mean, that's a drop the microphone line.
Well, that's the reason why they're cutting the mics off, because they don't want him to have that.
They don't want him to get away with that. Sure. I agree with you entirely. Trump has an intuition that is hard to beat by anybody. He goes with his gut, and his gut is right 90% of the time.
That's right.
But also he's got the high strung, it's hard for him. But I think and now I'm thinking about it, and I think you've got a good point, because even watching Trump in recent rallies, he's not quite as, Like he's not dropping F-bombs with kids
Right.
around.
Right.
He's not doing as much as he did do. So
Right.
I think somebody's got at him. But have you read the difference in what is being reported in terms of the vast distinction in debate preparation between the two candidates?
Yeah. And I find it interesting in this week alone, where Donald Trump is out on the stump engaging with people,
Right.
where Joe Biden is at home
Biden's in the bunker.
in a bunker for
Yeah.
a week to prepare for 90 minutes. And
With
some
16
of these
people.
Yeah, with 16 people pretending to be Donald Trump, which I think is laughable because I'd love to know who it is. Is Ron
Yeah.
Klain pretending to be Donald Trump? That would be funny. But to
No,
see
they probably
them
got Alex Baldwin.
Yeah. But again, I'll tell you what's funny about that. If that doesn't show you that they are afraid of Donald Trump's, I guess, unpredictability,
Mm-hmm.
that is right there. That shows it bottom line that they are concerned about what he can say. And this is another important factor for people to notice. Joe Biden is going to make this campaign about the future of Donald Trump rather than the presence of Biden's presidency. It can't be about that. He has to ignore it. And if Donald Trump just focuses on, look, I have a record to stand on, he has a record to stand on, and if he could keep pushing that in different ways, is your life better in the past 3 to 4 years than it was during my administration? And I'll say one last thing. This is important because I talked about this yesterday on my show, on my podcast. This nonsense that Donald Trump is going to bring chaos and brings chaos to the White House. It is absolutely ridiculous because the news media did everything to create chaos within that administration. If you think about the impeachments, what were they about? It was a Russia collusion created by Hillary Clinton. What was the impeachment that had to do with Ukraine was completely fabricated. Right, the phone call, completely fabricated by Vindman, who wasn't even on the call. Right, so all of this chaos, as it were, is manufactured by others saying it's Donald Trump's fault. And on my podcast, I said it's like the girlfriend or the spouse who keeps saying the reason why I'm acting bad is because of you, and taking no responsibility for their own actions.
Right. Well, I mean, you think about it. Everything that they said about Trump was false, and then everything they tried to do to protect Hillary, the email scandal, right?
Yep.
The she how many did she delete? And then she jokes about it, says, "Oh, did you wipe your computer? Oh, with a cloth?" You know. And then you look at the Biden thing. This is the worst thing. The collusion, obviously. How much money was spent? How much money was wasted on a story that was started by Clinton? Clinton started that story on a collusion. And then you get Hunter and you got the so-called intelligence officials. There's an
who we now know irrefutable.
They all lied. They all lied.
Not only did they lie, but they were commissioned to write this letter by the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken.
And all of that water, by the way, all of that water was carried by the lamestream media.
Yeah.
So you can't believe them. You can't believe the media because they promoted it. They brought that stuff to the viewer. So I'm saying everything, they are gaslighters. Democrats invented gaslighting.
Oh, yeah.
If you look up gaslighting, it says Democrat. And
not only did they invent it, but that's the whole part. It's like calling Donald Trump the chaos that they create. That's what it all is. Right? It's like everything about it's like, sure, did Donald Trump create his own chaos? If you really go through the numbers, did he start an unnecessary war with the NFL? Sure he did. Sure he did. But in the end, guess how did the NFL fans respond? By taking his lead. Yeah. Right? The NFL suffered majorly. They had to pull back. That's that kind of stuff that Donald Trump creates. He always ends up being right in the end. And people go, I'll never forget when they dragged Jay-Z into the NFL and he quietly says, in that interview, he says, I think we're past the kneeling now, which in essence was a hint to the players. Let's get back to football.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I don't want to belabor this because everybody's talked about this, but the Caitlin Clark phenomenon is remarkable. Caitlin Clark has done more for the WNBA than the WNBA has ever for itself combined.
Yep.
And the attacks and the racism and oh my gosh. I mean, it's crazy what's going on to this 22-year-old, first year player. And as much as they try to throw at her, less of it sticks. and all it does is raises her popularity, and it is raising attention to the WNBA, which
If you think
for them,
about it, Caitlin Clark is a perfect example of liberalism and progressivism's ability to destroy everything. Because even when it's successful, they work on destroying it. Right? When we know that mothers and fathers in the home are more productive for children to have a more fulfilling life, progressives wish to destroy it. The WNBA has been hemorrhaging money for 25 years. They finally get a profit share where people are interested, and the WNBA wishes to destroy it. But, abortion, same case. No matter what it is, you have to destroy it, in every way, in every possible way. Because I'm looking at the WNBA going, oh my God, Caitlin Clark, people are watching the sport. Oh my God, 17,000 people at a WNBA game? That's unheard of. And
they can't even play home games for her with the fever. They got to go somewhere else because they can't contain the people.
Exactly. So they get there and they get all of this money, and the WNBA responds by going, yeah, this sucks. Let's destroy it.
The WNBA is like the government. They believe they have no end of resource. They have no end of money coming in. It doesn't matter how they perform. What matters is how they present the brand the way they think they should present the brand.
Yeah.
And I think it could have a negative effect, but right now, I mean, Caitlin
when
Clark,
the agenda is more important than is more important than the profitability of the NBA, which needs it to survive, that shows you that's a clear example of progressivism. And I think government is another thing. You can say this sort of government intervention destroys everything. It doesn't create wealth. It doesn't create prosperity. It doesn't. It seeks to destroy it and to tax it and to profit for itself. And it's insane how that's going.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have to say though, it's so funny because of how they're preparing for this debate. I mean, I said earlier, I mean, Biden must have like a cookbook box filled of index cards on recipe. He's going to have to shuffle. If he can even find the cards, they have to have big colored tabbed indexes, and he probably has a cheat sheet where red is get Trump mad, green is say Trump's a felon, blue, so who knows how's Trump preparing? In this Wall Street Journal article, is that Trump's preparing by having casual conversation about foreign policy with his advisors. They're just talking. Why? Because that's Trump's gift. Trump is the communicator. He doesn't have to get propped up with 16 people. My only fear is that I don't think young children should watch tomorrow night, because with all the drugs that they're pumping Biden with, I'm afraid it could result in cardiac arrest, and he just might go down on the stage and it'll be over. And I don't want kids to see that. So,
okay. What if, can we go bingo card here? I want to go a little bingo card here. So for those of you who are watching at home, I've got a little bingo card game, right? So I'm putting the whole thing together. So I've got a couple of predictions. You don't have to have a bingo card, but if you're interested, you should do this because it's just for fun. So I've got a couple. I think that they are going to be 3, and I'm putting them on my bingo card. They're going to be 3 times where Biden says convicted felon. I believe it will be an opening statement somewhere during the debate and in closing arguments.
I'm writing this down.
Okay. So that I believe.
3 convicted felons. Okay.
Yeah. There will be 3 mentions of convicted felons. You don't want to overplay that hand.
Right.
Okay. So I've also Joe Biden trailing off, giving a point and then seeing that his time is running out and then trailing off. This is a thing that Joe Biden likes to do. And I predict that will happen I want to say a sweet spot. I've got 5. 5 times.
Oh my
5
goodness.
times. I'm going to go to sweet spot 5. I might get an over. I might get 6, but I'm sticking to 5. Okay, not remembering certain facts like people's names or dignitaries. I've got 8 on that one. I'm going 8. This is very important because Joe Biden has a hard time remembering certain things. And let me tell you, by the way, to give you the impetus of why I think that the dignitaries, 8 of them, he's going to screw up. I'll never forget just after the Robert Hur report came out and he was making mention of Bo's passing.
Yeah. Oh,
and
God.
Remember how agitated he was about that? If you go back and watch that video, he talks about the rosary that he wears to commemorate Bo's passing, and he couldn't remember the church where the funeral took place. That was telling. Joe Biden's memory is very, remember, they've got no cue cards. They've got pieces of paper, blank pieces of paper, and a pen. He's got to have all of this committed to memory. Joe Biden's not good there. He isn't.
Wow.
Now, last one, making up stories that never happen. I've got him at 7. I've got him at 7.
I'm writing this down.
Because I think, I'm sorry. Now, I'm playing the over-under on this one, but I think this is going to happen a lot. So I'm putting these particular things, I'm putting on the bingo card in a lot of places. Right? So
I remember D-Day when I was on the amphibious landing ship and coming in, and bullets were flying over my head, and I just told the boys to be calm.
Yeah. Okay, insurrection. Somebody in the Lori, thank God. Love you, Lori. Lori says in the chat room, she says insurrection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go insurrection again. Doesn't play well. I'm going to go with 2 on insurrection.
Only 2.
Only 2. You know, polling data shows that now people are starting to see that they're starting to get more and more information about January 6th that isn't really, jiving with Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, and especially now that there's new reports that Donald Trump wanted to bring the National Guard. It doesn't play well. Right. So twice. Right.
And Pelosi admitted it. Pelosi was an audio was leaked where Pelosi on the audio said it was her fault because she didn't accept the National Guard.
That's correct. They keep bringing the fact that Nancy Pelosi video just came out, so they want to stay away from it. But I think that insurrection thing is going to. Now, this one's a big one. This one is for the big, big cheese. If he brings up Charlottesville, listen to me. What else does he have? Yeah. That is the reason why when Joe Biden announced in 2020, when he did the video, I just watched it 2 days ago. Joe Biden said he was running for president of the United States in his 3.5-minute video. The point he brought up was what happened in Charlottesville. And when he says Donald Trump called them very fine people on both sides, he used that as his campaign. He ran through the campaign mentioning it. He said that we were fighting for the soul of our country and used Charlottesville as the reason why. Joe Biden will bring that up, even though it just got debunked in Snopes. They're finally saying that, but I think he will bring it up. And it will be a long shot, because he needs to use Charlottesville as Donald Trump being a racist and a bigot. Now, racist and bigot, I'm going to put that one at a 4. Okay. He's going to use something in that. But Charlottesville, that's the big kahuna. If we get Charlottesville, you get 2 free spaces.
Oh, I mean, that's gigantic. You get dinner with Reese if you get Charlottesville. Yeah. So let me give you some Trump bingo cards. All right?
Okay, go for it.
And this one I'm not taking credit for. This is Jeff. Jeff said this. Jeff B.
Okay.
And this is only for my only Trump Biden. I'm going Trump. Okay. 7 times Biden will say that Trump is a threat to democracy.
Okay.
Now Trump will say 6 times Biden's the worst president in the history of the country.
Yeah. 6 is good.
Trump will 4 times will say Biden should be going to jail because of all the money he's taken from foreign countries.
Ooh.
3 times Biden will say the only reason you're not going to jail is because they won't prosecute you because you have such a horrible memory.
Like that.
Twice, he's going to talk about Hunter. Only twice, because he knows that could have some negative pushback with independents.
Okay,
because it's the kid, right? And he knows what they've done going after Barron.
Right.
So these are things I've got all of these written down, and when we can review the score next week when you're on, because I think people want to know how accurate are we? Prophets in the Old Testament. If you gave a prophecy and it wasn't true, it was a capital penalty. You were stoned. You were killed. We don't do that anymore. People just say whatever they want to say. At least Karl Rove writes it down on the whiteboard.
Yeah, right on the whiteboard. Well, I've been talking again. I think this is going to be just one of those debates. It might get a little hairy in the beginning.
Yes,
I think it's almost like when the boxers come out in the beginning of a huge fight. Right, you get them swinging wildly in the beginning, because they're just so excited to get into the ring. And I think that's what's going to happen is like there'll be a little wild swinging, maybe some windmills. And, then it'll start to become the sweet science as it's
I
called.
want to see what it settles into. What's the vibe it settles into? Again, I don't know that that's even possible because Biden will forget so much. And I will say this as a disclaimer: all the things I said about Trump, the only thing that can go wrong here is they shut his microphone off, and we're not going to be able to hear it. So I think those are things. Hey, all right, tell everybody how do they get more Reese on the radio?
Always, you can go to reeseonradio.com and you can friend us on, of course, any of the platforms. You can watch the show also on Twitter, or as I may call it, X. You can watch the show there. And before I go, I want everybody to know that on July the 2nd at 3 p.m., I am going to be interviewing none other than Black Lives Matter 860. A 2-year war is finally going to meet the minds of the folks over at Black Lives Matter 860. And we'll be talking about everything that's happened over the past 2 years and my consistent war with them. We are finally going to hash it out for 2 hours.
July 2nd, what time?
At 3 p.m. I'll be filling in for Feinberg. So I'm telling,
So
we'll they will be on
WTIC, and we'll get it also on Reese on Radio.
Yeah, you're going to get it on Reese on Radio. So we're doing it, 2 hours talking to Black Lives Matter 860.
All right, I'll be tuned in for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Reese, thank you so much. Always a pleasure, my friend. Let's get the popcorn out for tomorrow night, and we'll go back and check our bingo cards.
Hey, you listen to me. Watch your phone because I'll be texting you.
All right, I'll be looking.
All right, folks.
Thanks, Reese.
You got it.
Reese on already, everybody. Hey, that's a wrap for us. Listen, again, free car wash coming up on Saturday if you think in the Connecticut area. Mazzicato's Bakery on Route 5 in Wallingford. Free car wash 10 to is that right? 10 starts at 10 to 12. And then if you're in the area for church on Saturday, 4:00, I'm going to be doing more about that Joseph kind of lesson that I shared with you earlier. And then Sunday at 9 and 10:45. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and YouTube. Please subscribe. Also, follow us on Spotify, where you can listen to us at any time. Great show today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, AT. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, Roz. I hung up on you earlier. I apologize for that. I won't do it again. It's the Benadryl. Hey, love you guys. God bless you. Have a great day. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 9:00.